after they rug, we were like, you know what, we can do better by them, and then we can also use all software engineering dev experience. We both work in for tech companies full time. Our developers in different ways. I'm an operations analyst and a business intelligence developer. Rug is a full stack front end and back end developer. Prototyped quite a few games, and so yeah, we just took all we took that excitement and knowing that we had something to offer, and that's when we were like, hey, let's make our own pixel art project. Not
Yo, hello, hello.
hey, what's going on, Bones?
Good, good. How are you doing? And I guess you said, how's it going? And I said, good. So that makes me super awkward. Your name is Ape Mother, but you don't sound like a mother. Am I wrong here?
No, you're not wrong. My partner, Rug Doctor, both met in a rugged project. Decided our motivation out of the gate was to give back to people and bring people from rug projects into a project where the founders cared and we're going to create something cool. He was going to be the fixer of all rugs, hence Rug Doctor, and I decided to be the protector of all the apes that would take them under their wing and just bring them into our ecosystem. So Ape Mother.
Yo, well, now that we have that out of the way, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on here. You're saying that this was a collection that was founded off of trying to help rugged projects.
Rug and I met back in December of 2021 actually. And going into the new year, we were both involved in this Pixelate project. We're kind of carrying the weight of it. He was handling some of the art that the founders were repurposing without asking, and I was handling the community. And after they rug, we were like, you know what, we can do better by them, and then we can also use all software engineering dev experience. We both work in for tech companies full time. Our developers in different ways. I'm an operations analyst and a business intelligence developer. Rug is a full stack front end and back end developer. Prototyped quite a few games, and so yeah, we just took we took that excitement and knowing that we had something to offer, and that's when we were like, hey, let's make our own pixel art project. Not tell anyone what we're going to do with it entirely. Let's give it away for free. At the time, we didn't know of any other free mints. This was April 20th. We dropped on minted out on April 20th of last year. I think there was one other project right before us that minted a free mint. So, it was very cool to kind of be the first to that scene. And the idea was, hey, let's show people kind of a different model and let them see what the community that we're going to create is all about, and then just keep surprising them. So yeah, we went on to drop our own rarity tool 5 days after we minted out. Then we spent the next 5.5 weeks animating every trait in the collection and created procedurally generated a digital, like an animated art pipeline tool for ourselves. We also created our own generation tool, our own crazy like rarity generator tool. Like basically everything we did from scratch, just to make it fit the complexity that we wanted it to. And there's a lot of little details there. And so after we animated the whole collection, we gave our holders the ability to sign a gasless transaction integrated on our website, apereunion.xyz. That's also where our rarity tool sits. And they could toggle the animations back and forth depending on their preference. That would show up on the marketplace. And then we just took it, kept going. Like we knew what we were going to do, but we had accomplished roadmap one. And so we felt like, it's time to kind of let them know what we really want to do, which is create our own game with all of these assets and bring these assets to life. And so we created full body characters from all of the animations in our collection. It's a 10,000 piece collection. And then each NFT that's held in the collection acts as your character to enter our metaverse, which can be accessed at world.apereunion.xyz. And you can jump into that world the moment you own a token. So if you go buy one right now off OpenSea, you can jump right into our world. It's in an alpha state. But yeah, we went ahead and launched a beta version. I mean, I think it's more appropriate to say alpha, where we just started testing some pretty basic stuff. We had about 40 users in this ecosystem, and then we scaled it to our whole community. And as of January 1st, after throwing two holiday events where we actually collaborated with a couple other projects, shout out to Long Lost, Feline Fiends, Cool Cookies, and Huxley Saga. which was a cool opportunity to create some rare items for these communities and have them drop through non-playable characters and like this whole adventure. Anyways, on January 1st, we dropped a whole new gameplay set of features where now we have about 100 active concurrent users in our server or in our ecosystem almost all the time playing in our game called Reunion. And we've had over 1,000 people play the game in our community, and the sky's the limit. I mean, we have tons of plans going forward, but that's like kind of the very quick version of, how we started and where we are now.
That was a whole lot more than I anticipated. Holy hell. That's honestly really, really cool. I would love for you to be able to show your screen here in a little bit if you can show us inside that world. I guess my first question with this is, it sounds like you guys built everything without any kind of funding and you've put this out for free. So did you have success with just NFTs in general and that's what paid for this? Or how did you guys get the funds to originally launch everything?
That's a good question. That was like one of our original, one of the original points we wanted to make visible to individuals is that if you have the experience and you form the right team, you don't necessarily need to take a path of fundraising millions of dollars. And that's kind of what we exemplified. So we wrote our own smart contract. I think it's cool to mention that in our smart contract, we actually wrote a rugged community function and gave priority access to rug communities that we hand selected. So that way we could really try to put this art in people's hands to give them an opportunity to make their bag back that they lost. We've written all of our own software. And I guess like the moral of the story is like we're developers, and developers, we're not like rich by any means, but we've just funded it out of our own passion for Web3. We only charged 2% royalties out of the gate for like the first 6 months, but we generated like 40 ETH, and you can do a lot with 40 ETH, especially when, our AWS, Heroku, Firebase, Calisius backend, all of our server usage and backend total is like less than $500 overhead per month. And the real cost savings comes in the fact that like we show up and we do the work. Like we treat this like a real job, even though we have full-time jobs as developers. We also work on this full-time. So we have 2 full-time jobs, and we don't have to outsource this stuff. And so where normally contractors are paying us very handsome wages, like we're just delivering that to our community and trying to basically put in the work now so that down the road here, we do have a full end-to-end launch-ready product that can handle an in-game economy and an ecosystem and all these other revenue paths that we have in mind.
That is amazing. That's really, really cool. And kudos for you for doing all this. So I brought up your stream, by the way, if you're wanting to give us a little bit of a tour here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, welcome to anybody who hasn't heard about it. I only have 2 apes on this wallet, but as you can see, the backgrounds are actually animated on all these tokens as well, which is fun. When you buy one, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get, and that was a kind of a fun surprise for our community. Like they would just see these plain backgrounds, and then when we launched the animations, they're like, "Whoa, brings these tokens to like a whole new life to them." But yeah, if you had like couple other characters, you'd be able to switch between them, and then simple as just joining with a session signature, no gas involved. I don't know if you can hear the sound coming through there, but we got some people here in Reunion just hanging out at the welcome portal. This is what we call the Bastion, and yeah, there's over here on the left-hand navigate. I mean, I want to preface that this is very early alpha stage, but we're having fun, and there's some cool progression starting to form. So we're going to have a Discord integration where we're actually going to integrate our existing Discord server and create a world chat feature. You'll be able to chat with people one-on-one, chat will pop up over your head. Eventually, we plan to leverage it for proximity chat, which is a technical explanation I won't get into, or else you guys will fall asleep. We're also going to be integrating Twitter in some really cool ways. So like when you do things like craft rare items in the game, it's going to be like, oh, do you want to share this to Twitter? Boom, send it right there on the spot. Also, like when you hover over people, you'll see a big tooltip screen basically, and it'll show their faction, banner, all of their stats, badges, if their Twitter is integrated, you can follow them right there on their spot, or do some sort of tweet mechanism with them. We also have a map feature that we implemented recently. You can change the UI by, control minus, control plus, and you can kind of see where you're at in the map. The map itself is made of 625 chunks. Takes about 50 minutes to get across. We procedurally generated it with our own tile set that we created as well. What I don't have a lot of here, you can also drag all of our UI around. And this will get better and better. What I don't have a ton of is a big inventory. But if you have like pants and clothing items, you can actually equip them to your character. And this is what is going to be evolving into what's called the Reunion Armory, where you'll be able to, buy, sell, trade all of these different artifacts and items that you're going to find throughout the game. And some of them are going to be needed for different gameplay elements. Here you have like a little hotbar where you can drag items down into, like your sword. Here I got my rare trident. I don't know why they're not sticking. I think it's more me. And then, yeah, you can just exit out, use the number keys to equip these bad boys, and boom, we're off, running around Reunion. And this world is massive. Where you see these tree stumps, there's normally trees, but our community is always in here just like breaking resources down to harvest them. It's always fun to run into people in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, you can run up to all these different cool things, and basically there's a crafting progression right now. So you can see if you hit C, there's some basic weapons that you can craft. If we were to go back down here to the welcome area, you have a couple different things going on. Here you have a place where you can craft these different weapons, and they have their own cost associated with them. So you just basically got to spend time exploring the map and finding these different cool areas in order to craft this unique stuff. You can craft all these clothing items that you can equip to your character. And the thing that I'm really excited about that is we're working on this Ape Reunion art studio right now, where the next version of our collection will involve our community will have the ability to stake their characters, which will give them access to some new art and IP that we're bringing forward, but also the ability to do like a trait swapping, so to speak, but in a way where it won't mess with the metadata. They'll be able to use all their traits to create the character they want to play with. Additionally, if they have these rare items in their inventory, they'll be able to equip them to their equipment menu, and that'll actually show up on the marketplace on a multi-page version of the token, where we're going to show the original version, this animated version, and then the full body character with the items that they equip. And when that item sells, when that ape sells, for instance, that they're trying to make more attractive through all these items they're equipping, all those items will actually sell as well along with it. So it'll be bundled with an ERC 721 and multiple ERC 1155, depending on what's equipped.
That's cool. I'm assuming that doesn't show up in like the OpenSea metadata, or does it?
It doesn't, because the character that we're allowing people to create is just being used in our game. And then the portion where it's showing on the marketplace, we're using a JavaScript canvas overlay. And so it'll be pointing at our original image on IPFS. It'll be pointing at a page 2, which will be in like one of our S3 buckets. And then page 3 will kind of be the same thing. And so I don't know if you've interacted with any tokens like that, but it'll basically have like a mini menu on each NFT, and you can like see each version of it. So it's going to be really cool in that sense. And it won't mess with the metadata. So kind of unique, because, we have a lot of holders who have been collecting rare pieces for months and months. And yeah, they were like, we don't want the metadata to change because we've spent a lot of time looking at this stuff. And as an example, since you're looking at my screen, we'll just pull up the Ape Reunion page right now. You can see that the tokens themselves are animated on the marketplace. And yeah, the metadata is all there. So we don't want to mess with it. The other thing kind of mentioned here is that this map, I mentioned it's massive, but we have a couple like starred locations to start. And so you can actually use the teleport here, and we can teleport to another part of the map and just explore that way. Here in the past, we've staged different non-playable characters. I love just, wherever we go, you run into more people. So you can start to get the idea of like some of the stuff we're going to be doing. In addition to this gameplay, like MMO style gameplay we have now, we're adding some PvP arena. So your apes will be able to fight one another. So that's going to be pretty cool. We're going to have a bunch of different quests all over the map. We're also going to be dropping land ownership, customizable estates. So you'll actually have a UI where you can go in and have this place that you can like deck out and hang out with your friends. So in between seasons of Reunion, you still have this really cool place. Yeah, there's just we're basically an anomaly because we started as a free mint ape project, and a lot of people look the other way because they're like, not another ape project. And we went on to just kind of keep surprising people, and that's our goal. Is we're at the point now where we have a really great proof of concept, and we want to create a really attractive place for individuals to hang out within our community, and then eventually start onboarding partner communities where we'll create a token that represents their collection, allow them to come in through a token gated experience. They can select that one or multiple of tokens. We're also exploring the idea of allowing our holders to rent out their tokens for gameplay right now if they have them staked. And so, yeah, the idea right now is just to create a very fun social experience for our community and then bring that to the entire Web3 ecosystem.
So you mentioned land a second ago, and Harmony Bowmeister, what's up, guys? I feel like there's like this thing where there's a lot of land discussion across the entirety of the space, but we've not really seen it live and in action. And the only reference I could think of earlier is with Sandbox, where you had a plot of land, you're able to build something on it, and then you are going to be also able to get like a multiplier for the staking token rewards. So what's the big thing with the land for you guys? And also, Bowen, thanks so much for the Prime, sir.
Yeah, for sure. So for us, land is wrapped up into some of the gameplay. So inside of our community, and I think this has become common in communities, we have factions. These factions aren't based around traits. They're actually just based around big teams within the community. So before we had this version, this browser-based version of Reunion, we had a text-based version, which operated as sort of a pilot, so to speak, for us to test some of the gameplay elements. And as part of our Discord integration, all of the items that individuals have earned through our Discord game are actually being integrated into this game, and there's always gonna be a text version and like this browser-based version. And so those factions existed because of all of that. Well, part of the purpose of land is to give you this, permanence on the map, allow you to like collect resources, craft planks if you've collected a bunch of wood, build a house, deck it out, do cool stuff with your friends. The other part with these factions is going to be this idea of turf wars and taking control of the map based on where you stake your claims of land. And if you don't remain in control of your land, let's just say at the end of every season, you're going to want to make sure that your faction is working hard to earn control of the map, because you're going to have the ability to then go ahead and likely mint a lot of the rare 1155 items that you haven't been able to mint in your inventory. So those things you're collecting along the way, including like rare skins and drops that you'll get from like public raid bosses and stuff, it's all kind of roped into land. And then on top of it, land, just owning the land isn't good enough for us. Like it doesn't really make sense just to like, boom, here's this digital plot in perpetuity. Like you got to maintain your land, and so staking will actually help you with that, because you'll be able to get some of the resources needed to maintain your land, because you can actually lose your claim. You won't lose your NFT, but you'll lose that claimed spot. You won't lose your building architecture. You'll be able to pop that down and save that, because that's kind of a separate but joint UI. So yeah, it's all wrapped together where staking will allow you to maintain your land easier, but it's also land is necessary for some of the gameplay components that we're going to be having. In addition, you can kind of see down here in the left-hand corner, there's a health and a hunger bar. And so when we start including some survival mechanics, your land will operate as a safe place for you and anybody who's on your team, like your mini team or your faction, which you'll be able to see where those people are on the map, and the map will be color coded accordingly, so it won't be hard to figure out. But when you're there, you'll be safe because you will actually be able to die on this map. Doesn't mean you'll lose your NFT, but it does mean you'll like drop some items out of your bag. Some items will be NFTs in your inventory, some items won't. So some things just don't make sense to like make immutable. Some of them are like consumable things that you need to play across each season, and then some of them are like rare things like this trident or this staff that gives you a lot of momentum in things like PvP or cooperative quests across the map. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, no, that helps a lot. I mean, you guys got a hell of a lot going on. Like it's super cool. It's super cool to see. I mean, honestly, like it's impressive where I've kind of just been like, yo, tell me about this, and you've been able to kind of go over so much in this like 30-minute window. It's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mouthful. I apologize. I
No, no,
just
no,
love
no. It's good. I love
maximizing
it.
it,
Honestly, I
and
love it. Yeah, no, I
yeah,
really love it.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, the other thing that's a big motivator for us is creating our own world allowed us to make sure everything was really color correct with our assets, and that was something that we didn't experience in other pixel verses. Is they didn't really make sense for all of the like this aggregation of all the art across Web3 because ultimately everyone wants to scale, everyone wants to be interoperable, and so what do? They bring in all these other collections, and it's just visually we wanted to make sure that like the dimensionality 128 by 128 made sense, and it gives us enough granularity to make it look really cool, but then also have the ability to control this color palette so that it's visually attractive because there's really, at the end of the day, NFTs, it's all about the art, and if you don't have that like gotcha, this art is fire out of the gate, people just keep scrolling, and so it's important for the game and everything we do to maintain that mentality.
For sure. So we only got about another 2-ish minutes here, but I want to kind of just let you have kind of a 2 minutes here for anybody that's seeing this that's like, hey, this is kind of cool. How do they get involved? What are the things would you tell them about this?
Yeah, I would say jump in our Discord. Check us out on Twitter, apereunion.xyz. If you're not a part of Ape Reunion, the reason you should become a part of Ape Reunion, especially if you like gaming, is that there's really no other project that I can think of that started out as a massive multiplayer online game out of the gate. There's some really good games popping up on the scene, but we have a proof of concept. We have 10, 11-month record of delivering and doing right by our community. We've stewarded our treasury really well. We've been hiring a ton of animators, marketing vendors, just new individuals to take some of the responsibility off our plates behind the back. We've also demoed this to a few VCs just in case we need to go that route, and there's been an extreme interest. People are very impressed that we're the only PFP project that started as a PFP that I would say has its own metaverse, and your PFP acts as your gateway into the metaverse. Something I didn't touch on that I think is worth noting, that I haven't seen anyone else doing. We're creating these things called memory shards. Memory shards will separated from your NFT character. They're going to save all of your progress in XP and stats, and so you'll be able to move your memory shards between character to character, so that way you can level up a memory shard to like the max level and sell your XP basically. And so it's not about just leveling up the one NFT. It'll be about saving it on associated to a memory shard on your wallet. Then you can transfer. So if you just wanted to like level up stuff and like sell that part of the game and give people the ability to jump right in at the highest level if that's what they want to pay for, there's that component too. But yeah, we show up every day. We really care about what we're doing. We've stewarded our community really well. I mean, obviously there's been growing pains in 10 months, and like we've had a tremendous amount of volume, but we've learned a ton from them. We have great mentors, and our community is insanely active on Twitter. So yeah, jump in. We'd love to see you guys in Ape Reunion.
Yeah, Ape Mother, that was a phenomenal run through. I really appreciate you taking the time, and maybe we'll do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for having me. Middle of the business day, hopped in and we got it done. Appreciate you.
Oh, love it, love it. All right, enjoy it.
Take care, guys.
Peace, peace.